Right, let's dive into Zero to One by Peter Thiel and Blake Masters. We know you guys are, all about startups and innovation, and this book, well, this book is basically like a roadmap for building something really groundbreaking, right?
It is, yeah.
It's packed with a lot of advice that really goes against, the traditional advice kind of makes you rethink things.
Yeah.
And we're going to unpack I think the most valuable ideas for you guys today. What's the most intriguing concepts, I think, is that Thiel actually suggests avoiding competition.
Yeah.
And that's just like the tip of the iceberg.
Absolutely. Thiel, he challenges a lot of kind of like that traditional business thinking, He says that entrepreneurs shouldn't be trying to be just slightly better than the competition, but aim to create something totally new, which is what he calls going from 0 to 1.
Okay, so what does that mean? 0 to 1 sounds really cool.
Yeah.
But how's that different from, just like starting a regular business?
Well, imagine you're building a business. You could start another social media app and just kind of tweak the features a bit, try and stand out from the crowd a little bit, right? And that's what Thiel calls going from 1 to N. Basically just copying what already exists, but 0 to 1. It's about creating something totally new, something that didn't exist before.
So it's about more than just starting a business. It's about genuine innovation.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about solving a problem or meeting a need in a way that hasn't been done before. So instead of, the 100th social media app, about a platform that connects people based on skills they want to teach and learn.
Okay.
So think about it, right? What if there was a service that helped you find someone in your neighborhood who could teach you how to fix a leaky faucet or bake sourdough bread?
Yeah.
That's the kind of outside the box thinking that Thiel advocates for.
I love that. So instead of trying to compete in this crowded market, you're creating a whole new category, right?
Yeah.
But isn't that kind of lonely?
That's a good question.
I mean, doesn't competition push us to be better?
Well, that's what's so interesting about Thiel's argument, right? He actually believes that competition can be a trap.
Interesting.
He says that when companies are constantly, battling each other, they end up focusing on tiny improvements, price wars, which just squeeze their profit.
So instead of trying to win a tiny slice of a crowded market, Thiel wants us to bake our own pie.
Exactly.
So what?
Think about Google, right? They didn't set out to build just a slightly better search engine than Yahoo. They created something so unique and so valuable that it basically dominated the market, made the competition almost irrelevant.
Okay, I see where he's going with this. But isn't that basically creating a monopoly?
Yeah.
And aren't monopolies, usually considered a bad thing?
You're hitting on probably one of the most controversial ideas in the book. To be honest, when I first read it, I was a little uncomfortable with it too.
Yeah.
But Thiel argues that monopolies, when they're built on innovation and delivering exceptional value, can actually benefit both the company and the consumer.
Okay, that sounds a little counterintuitive. How could a monopoly be good for anyone but the company? That controls it.
Well, think of it this way. A company with a true monopoly has more resources to invest in research and development, improve its products, and ultimately offer better value to its customers. Because they aren't constantly, battling these competitors.
Right.
They have the space to really focus on what they're good at.
Okay, I'm starting to see his point. But how do you even build a monopoly? It's not like there's a step-by-step guide, right?
Well, Thiel actually, he outlines 4 key characteristics of a monopoly in the book. Okay.
First, you need proprietary technology, something that others can't easily copy.
So like a groundbreaking invention or...
A unique algorithm.
Exactly. Second, you need what's called network effects, which means that the value of your product or service increases as more people use it. So think about Facebook, right?
Okay.
Becomes more useful the more of your friends are on it.
That's a great example. Okay, so we've got proprietary technology, network effects. What are the other 2?
The third is economies of scale, which means as your company grows, your costs per unit go down, allowing you to offer more competitive pricing.
So the bigger you get, the more efficient you become. Makes sense.
Exactly.
Finally.
Strong branding. People need to recognize and trust your brand, which makes them less likely to switch to a competitor, even if that competitor offers, a similar product or service.
So it's not just about having a great product or service. It's about creating this whole ecosystem around it.
Yeah.
That makes it like difficult for anyone else to break in.
Precisely. And Thiel emphasizes that he's not advocating for monopolies that are built through, shady business practices.
Right.
He's talking about monopolies that are built on genuine innovation and delivering exceptional value to customers.
So companies like Google or Apple, which started by dominating a specific niche, and then kind of expanded from there.
Exactly.
It's not about like crushing the competition through brute force. It's about like out innovating them and creating something so valuable that it becomes the obvious choice.
Exactly. And remember how Thiel, he encourages us to like question conventional wisdom. Like this idea of building a monopoly definitely falls into that category, right?
Yeah.
It challenges our assumptions about what good business looks like.
Okay, so we've got this like 0 to 1 thinking, this idea of like not shying away from building a monopoly. But doesn't that like require a certain type of mindset?
You're absolutely right. Thiel, he emphasizes the importance of being a definite optimist.
A definite optimist. Now that sounds interesting. What's the definite part all about?
Well, Thiel, he believes that success isn't about luck or circumstance. It's about having a vision, planning for the future, and taking deliberate steps to achieve your goals. He contrasts this with indefinite optimism, which is more like, oh, I hope things will work out. But it's optimism without a plan.
So definite optimism is about having like both the vision and like the roadmap to get there.
Precisely. He uses the example of entrepreneurs like Elon Musk and Steve Jobs. They didn't just stumble into success. They had a clear vision of what they wanted to create and worked tirelessly to make it a reality.
So it's not just about like positive thinking. It's about strategic planning and execution.
Exactly. Thiel wants us to be proactive, to take control of our own destinies and to shape the future we want to see. And that brings us to another kind of fascinating concept, exponential growth.
Okay, this is where I start to get a little lost. Exponential growth, isn't that just a fancy way of saying like things grow quickly?
It's more than just growing quickly. Imagine you're like drawing a line on a graph, right?
Okay.
Linear growth is a straight, steady incline. You add a bit more each time. Exponential growth, on the other hand, starts slowly, but then like suddenly shoots upwards like a rocket taking off.
Okay, so it's like a hockey stick, right?
Yeah.
Starts flat and then all of a sudden it just curves.
Exactly.
Almost straight up.
Yeah. But why is that so important for startup?
Because in certain industries, particularly like technology, growth can happen at an incredibly rapid pace. And companies that can harness this type of growth have the potential to like become dominant players in their markets very quickly.
So if you're not growing exponentially, you're falling behind.
In a sense, yeah. Thiel argues that the companies that achieve like truly massive success are often the ones that figure out how to tap into this exponential growth curve.
And that connects to another concept he discusses, the power law.
Okay, lay it on me. What's the power law all about? Is that like physics or something?
It's a bit more nuanced than that, but it's a powerful concept for understanding how markets work.
Okay.
The power law suggests that in many industries, a small number of companies will account for like the majority of success. Think about the tech giants, right?
Okay.
Google, Amazon, Facebook. They represent a tiny fraction of the total number of tech companies out there.
Yeah.
But they capture a huge portion of the market share and profits.
So it's not about like everyone getting an equal slice of the pie. It's about a few companies.
Yeah.
Taking the lion's share.
Exactly. And for startups, the takeaway is that you need to focus on building a business with the potential for that exponential growth. Don't just aim for incremental progress. Look for opportunities to disrupt the market and create something truly scalable.
So you're saying that even if I'm in a totally different field, like, I don't know, handcrafted furniture, these principles still apply?
Absolutely. The specific strategies might differ, but the underlying principles of 0 to 1 thinking, building a strong brand, and aiming for that exponential growth can be applied to any industry.
Wow, this is a lot to process. We've gone from like avoiding competition to building monopolies to exponential growth. It's mind-blowing. But there's got to be more to building a successful startup than just like big ideas, right?
You're absolutely right. You can have the most innovative idea in the world, but without the right people to execute it, it's likely to go nowhere. And that's where another key element of Thiel's philosophy comes in, building a great team.
Yeah, he actually uses the PayPal mafia as an example, right?
Yeah.
I've heard of them, but it sounds a little intense.
Don't worry, it's not an actual mafia.
Oh.
It's just a nickname for a group of early PayPal employees who went on to either found or invest in some of the most successful tech companies in the world. Tesla, LinkedIn, YouTube, SpaceX, the list goes on and on.
So is he saying that we should just hire anyone who used to work at PayPal?
Not quite. The point is that surrounding yourself with talented and ambitious people is crucial. You need people who share your vision, challenge you to think differently, and are willing to work hard to achieve something extraordinary.
So it's about finding people who not only have the skills, but also the drive and the passion to make your vision a reality.
Exactly. Thiel believes that the people you work with are just as important as the idea itself.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, and it's clear that Thiel offers a very different perspective on building a successful business, from embracing monopolies to focusing on exponential growth. It's all about challenging like conventional wisdom and thinking big.
Absolutely. 0 to 1 is about building the future, not just fitting into the present.
This has been an incredible deep dive so far.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah, we are.
What other mind-blowing insights does Thiel have in store for us?
Oh, there's so much more. We've talked about innovation, competition, monopolies, the importance of team building, but 0 to 1 doesn't stop there. It also dives into this often overlooked aspect of actually getting your product into the hands of customers.
You mean like sales and distribution?
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs like get so caught up in building the perfect product that they totally forget about this crucial part.
Exactly, yeah. Thiel, he dedicates a whole chapter to this.
Wow.
He argues that even the most brilliant product is useless if nobody knows about it or can easily buy it.
So it's not enough to just like build a better mousetrap. You have to like get people to beat a path to your door.
It's not quite as simple as build it and they will come, is it? Thiel argues that having a great product is only half the battle. The other half is getting it in front of the right people. He breaks down like different distribution strategies, from traditional marketing and sales to viral marketing, leveraging network effects. And he emphasizes that there's no like one-size-fits-all approach.
Right. So what works for like a consumer app might not work for like a complex enterprise software solution.
Exactly. He stresses the importance of understanding your customer acquisition cost. Like, how much does it actually cost you to acquire a new customer?
Right.
That's essential for building a sustainable business. If you're spending more to acquire a customer than you're making from them.
Well, something needs to change.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not just about getting your product out there. It's about doing it in a way that makes financial sense. Right. And it's something that a lot of startups, they overlook. They get caught up in the excitement of building something new, but they don't always like think strategically about how they're going to reach their target market in a cost-effective way.
This is so valuable. I feel like these are the kinds of like practical details that often get glossed over. But Thiel really brings it down to earth, doesn't it?
She does. And it's not just about sales and distribution. He also talks about the importance of timing, not just in terms of like market trends, but also in terms of your own company's development.
Oh, so there's a right time to like launch a product and a right time to scale.
Yes. Launching too early can be disastrous if your product isn't ready or if the market isn't there yet. But waiting too long can allow competitors to gain a foothold and steal your market share.
So how do you find that like sweet spot, that perfect moment when like your product is ready and the market is like hungry for what you're offering?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Thiel, he argues that it requires a deep understanding of your industry, your target audience, and your own capabilities. It's about being strategic, adaptable, and constantly assessing the landscape.
It sounds a lot like surfing.
Yeah,
like
right.
you have to catch the right wave at the right time. You can't force it.
That's a great analogy. There's definitely an element of timing and instinct involved, but it's also about preparation and skill. You have to be ready to ride that wave when it comes.
And I think that's what makes like 0 to 1 so valuable, right? It's not just like a collection of inspirational quotes, right?
Yeah.
It's a practical guide filled with advice that entrepreneurs can actually use.
It is, yeah. It's almost like having a mentor in your pocket, someone who's been there, done that, and is willing to share their hard-won wisdom. Speaking of mentor.
Oh, yeah. He talks about the importance of, like, building relationships and seeking out mentors, doesn't he? Yeah. I'm always curious about this because, like, finding the right mentor seems so crucial. But also kind of mysterious, right? Like, how do you even go about doing that?
He emphasizes the value of finding people who've already achieved what you aspire to and learning from their experiences. He also talks about the importance of building a strong network of advisors and supporters who can offer guidance and support along the way.
It makes you realize that building a successful startup isn't a solo mission, right?
Right.
You need a team, you need mentors, you need advisors. It really takes a village, doesn't it?
It really does. Building a company is about surrounding yourself with people who believe in your vision and want to see you succeed.
I appreciate that he doesn't, like, just focus on, like, the exciting parts of entrepreneurship. He also acknowledges the challenges, the setbacks, the failures that are almost inevitable along the way.
Yeah, he's very realistic about the fact that building a successful company is incredibly hard work. It's not for the faint of heart. There will be moments of doubt, frustration, maybe even despair.
That makes me feel a little better, honestly. Because, like, when you only hear about the overnight successes, it's easy to, like, feel like you're doing something wrong if you're struggling.
Yeah, it's important to remember that failure is a part of the journey. It's how we learn and grow. What's important is how we respond to those failures.
Yeah. Thiel emphasizes the importance of resilience, doesn't he?
He does.
Of learning from your mistakes.
Yeah.
And never giving up on your dream.
Absolutely. He talks about the importance of having a strong sense of purpose, of believing in what you're doing, even when things get tough. And that belief can be incredibly powerful, especially when you're facing those setbacks.
So it's not just about, like, having a brilliant idea or perfect plan. It's about having the grit and the determination to see it through, even when things get messy.
Exactly. Building something truly great. It requires not just, like, brilliance and innovation, but also perseverance and an unwavering belief in yourself and your vision.
It's inspiring to hear him, like, talk about these things because it reminds us that entrepreneurship is about so much more than just making money. It's about creating something meaningful, something that makes a difference in the world.
He even gets kind of philosophical, doesn't he?
Yes.
I remember him talking about the importance of asking the right questions, of thinking about the future in a way that most people don't.
Yeah, he talks about like secrets, right, and how they're not, like some kind of hidden knowledge that only a select few are privy to. Like, what did he mean by that?
He argues that there are still important truths about the world that haven't been discovered or widely understood. He encourages us to be curious, to question everything, to look for those hidden gems of knowledge that can lead to breakthroughs and innovation.
It's almost like he's challenging us to become
explorers,
to push the boundaries of human knowledge.
Exactly. He believes that those who are willing to do that, to venture into uncharted territory and challenge the status quo, are the ones who will shape the future.
This is going way beyond building a business now, isn't it? It's about, like, expanding the frontiers of human knowledge and understanding.
That's what makes 0 to 1 such a compelling and inspiring read. It's a call to action for anyone who wants to make a difference, to leave their mark on the world, and to create something truly extraordinary.
We've covered so much in this deep dive.
Yeah, we have.
And I feel like I've only just begun to grasp the depth of 0 to 1.
It's a book you can revisit multiple times and still find something new to learn from, a new perspective to consider, a new question to ask.
So we've talked about innovation, competition, monopolies, strategy, timing, team building, resilience, the importance of sales and distribution, the power of asking the right questions, and even the search for hidden secrets.
We've explored Thiel's unique perspectives on everything from venture capital to education to the future of technology and how they all connect back to this core idea, creating something new, something valuable, something that pushes the boundaries of what's possible.
It's been an incredible journey. through the mind of one of the most influential thinkers
Yeah.
of our time.
Yeah.
And I'm still processing it all.
I think the biggest takeaway is that building a successful startup or achieving anything truly great in life, it requires a combination of vision, strategy,
Yeah.
execution, and a relentless pursuit of excellence.
It's about challenging conventional wisdom, thinking for yourself, and being willing to take risks.
It's about building a great team, finding mentors, and learning from your mistakes.
And perhaps most importantly, it's about having a deep belief in yourself and your vision, even when things get tough. Because ultimately, it's those who dare to dream big, who refuse to settle for the status quo, who will shape the future and leave a lasting impact on the world.
Thiel, he ends the book with a call to action, doesn't he? He challenges us to create a better future, one that's built on innovation, progress, and a belief in the power of human ingenuity.
He reminds us that the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we create through our choices, our actions, and unwavering commitment to building a better world. But where do we even begin?
The first step is to ask the right questions. What problems are you passionate about solving? What unique value can you bring to the world? What kind of future do you want to create?
Those are some big questions. And I think 0 to 1 provides a framework for answering them, for turning those dreams into reality.
Just get a roadmap for anyone who wants to go from 0 to 1, to build something new, something that will leave a lasting mark on the world.
This has been an incredible deep dive into 0 to 1.
It has.
And I feel like we've barely scratched the surface.
I agree.
But it's given me so much to think about, so many new ideas to explore.
It's a book that will stay with you long after you've finished reading it, prompting you to think differently, to challenge assumptions, and to pursue your own 0 to 1 moments.
Now, I know we're wrapping up here, but there's one thing I keep coming back to. Thiel, he talks about building monopolies, but that idea still makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Is it really possible to create a monopoly without stifling competition and hurting consumers?
That's a great question. And it's one that a lot of people, they struggle with. I think it's important to remember that. Thiel isn't advocating for monopolies that are built through unethical or anti-competitive practices.
So it's not about like crushing the competition
or exploiting
customers. He's talking about monopolies that emerge organically from creating something so valuable and innovative that it becomes the dominant force in the market. Think about Google, for example. Okay, so Google, they built a better search engine, and people naturally flocked to it, giving them a dominant market share. They didn't force anyone to use their product.
Exactly. And because of their dominant position, they've been able to invest heavily in research and development, which has led to even more innovation and better products for consumers.
So in a way, their monopoly has actually fueled progress and innovation, not stifled it.
That's the argument that Thiel is making. Of course, there are always concerns about, monopolies becoming complacent or abusing their power.
Right.
But Thiel, he believes that the benefits of a well-run monopoly in terms of innovation and value creation outweigh the risks.
That's a really interesting perspective. It definitely challenges that traditional view of monopolies as inherently bad.
I think that's what makes 0 to 1 such a thought-provoking book. It forces you to question your assumptions and to look at things from a different angle.
It's definitely not a book that you can just passively read and forget about. It's a book that stays with you and continues to challenge your thinking long after you've finished it. It makes you think differently about what it means to build a successful business and maybe even what it means to be successful in life. It's not about following the beaten path, right? It's about forging your own way.
He really pushes us to be independent thinkers, to question the status quo and not be afraid to go against the grain.
I'm curious, with all this talk about creating something new, something valuable, does Thiel ever touch on the ethical side of innovation?
That's a really insightful question. And it's something that I think every entrepreneur should be thinking about. While 0 to 1 doesn't explicitly focus on ethics, the underlying message is about building something that creates lasting value, not just short-term gains.
So it's not just about disrupting for the sake of disrupting. There's got to be a deeper purpose,
Yeah.
a vision for a better future.
Absolutely. And that vision has to be grounded in values. He talks about the importance of building a future that benefits all of humanity, not just the select few.
Yeah, it makes me think about like all the negative headlines that we see
Yeah.
about tech companies these days,
Hmm.
like data privacy issues, the spread of misinformation, concerns about AI. It's clear that innovation without like ethical considerations
Hmm.
can have some pretty serious unintended consequences.
You're absolutely right. And that's why it's so important for entrepreneurs to think about the potential impact
Hmm.
of their creations, not just the potential
Right,
profits.
0 to 1 is almost like a call to action to build a better future, not just a bigger bank account.
It is. It's about leveraging innovation to solve real problems, improve people's lives,
Yeah.
and create a more equitable and sustainable world.
We've covered so much ground in
Yeah.
this deep dive into 0 to 1, from avoiding competition to embracing monopolies, from the importance of timing to the power of asking the right questions. It's been a whirlwind of ideas.
It's clear that 0 to 1 isn't just a business book.
Yeah.
It's a philosophy for anyone
Hmm.
who wants to make a meaningful contribution to the world.
So if someone is listening to this,
Yeah.
feeling inspired
Yeah.
and ready to take that leap to create something extraordinary, where do they even start?
Thiel would say, start by asking the right questions. What problem are you passionate about solving? What unique value
Yeah.
can you bring to the world? What kind of future do you want to create?
Those are some big questions. And I think 0 to 1
Mm-hmm.
provides the tools and the framework for answering them, for turning those dreams into reality.
It's a roadmap for anyone who wants to find their own 0 to 1 moment, that spark of innovation that can change the world for the
Yeah.
better.
Well, this deep dive has definitely sparked something in me. I'm feeling energized. I'm inspired and ready to take on the world.
That's the power of 0 to 1. It challenges us to think differently, to push our limits, and to believe in the power of human ingenuity to create a better future.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible deep dive. If you haven't read 0 to 1 yet, I highly recommend it. And if you have read it, maybe it's time for a reread. There's always something new to discover in its pages.
Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep creating. You never know what 0 to 1 moments might be waiting just around the corner.